What's going on, everyone? Just wanted to start it off by saying happy Father's Day. We got Father's Day coming up this weekend, and I wanted to put out a special deal for your fathers and on stnutrition.com, Strong Tower Nutrition. We're carrying a bunch of different new products now. We have your OMG, your AMF. We have a new BCAAs and EAAs, which is going to help you recover. And it's a whiskey and cola flavor, which I encourage you guys to go and order for your dad and, give him something special. Give him something healthy for this Father's Day. Get him to get into the gym and, give him something to help him recover and really show him how much you love him because you want him around for a long time. So if you go to stnutrition.com and type in DAD10, D-A-D, and then number 10, and you'll get 10% off your order, your whole order, not just the product, your whole order. So go ahead and do that. Support Strong Tower Nutrition, and I thank you for turning on this podcast and supporting the podcast. And again, go to stnutrition.com, use the promo code DAD10, and save your dad's life. It's my foundation. It's my faith, it's my work ethic, it's my drive, it's everything that I've tried to build for myself that has made me who I am.
I'll do what it takes to make you believe.
Hey, what is going on, everyone? Today is Wednesday, June 17th, man. We made it to June. We're still going through Corona. We're still going through battling systemic racism and fighting for the Black Lives Matter movement. Still going through all that. And, we'll probably be fighting for that for a while, man. It's going to take a while because a lot of people aren't as open-minded. They're not as understanding as what's going on. But, we'll get through it. All this stuff is happening for a reason. All this stuff is happening, and think about it. All this stuff, the protests, the virus, all this is going to go down in history. This is history in the making because this time around, we're done. We're done with dealing with this racism, with this, this crap in this country, man. And I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of people not getting justice when they need it. We still got the cops out there living their life that killed Breonna Taylor. We're still haven't seen anything on that. Yeah, I mean, these things need to happen. They need to happen so we can move forward and we can get better as a country and we can pull each other together and, just keep living our lives. And for those who aren't on board, man, you better catch up. You better open your mind. You better try and understand because your way of thinking is old. It's out of here. It's done with. So, and that's one of, there's two issues I wanted to talk about that happened that have been going on last week and this week. The first one was with the NASCAR driver. So NASCAR driver Ray Ciccarelli, he just came out yesterday with not so much an apology, more of regret, I guess. So he's kind of saying that people that read his tweet misunderstood it. Okay, let's see if there's anything to misunderstand here. He says, well, it's been a fun ride and a dream come true, but if this is the direction NASCAR is headed, we will not participate after 2020 season is over. I don't believe in kneeling during the anthem, nor taking people right to fly whatever flag they love. I could care less about the Confederate flag, but there are people that do it and doesn't make them a racist. All you are doing is fucking one group to cater to another, and I ain't spend the money we are to participate in any political BS, so everything is for sale. Okay, so in the tweet he does say, I could care less about the Confederate flag. So the Confederate flag was mainly for support of the people, the soldiers fighting for the Confederacy, right? And, which is funny because people think it's un-American to not be able to have the American flag, but the Confederacy was un-American. So, you know what I mean? They're the ones that didn't want to come together to form the United States. Therefore, we wouldn't be the United States of America. So anyway, there's that. And then also, like, they did have organizations back then. So in 1948, a group condemned the use of the flag in demonstrations of college groups and some political groups, and launched a formal effort to protect the flag from misuse. So they say misuse is by different groups like the KKK or different white supremacists, or used for political reasons. Several southern states subsequently passed laws to punish desecration of the Confederate flag. All those efforts proved futile. In the decades after the flag fad, the Confederate flag became, as one Southern editor wrote, confetti in careless hands. So if you really look into what Ray Ciccarelli is saying, like he's saying on the part as like it's where he's doing it like he would be supporting those lost Confederate soldiers that died in the Civil War and things of that nature. But dude, you have to take away this flag because of what it stands for, what the South created it to stand for. It lost its original reason because of how much it was used for hate. So you can't take back that original reason. I'm sorry, it's just no one's going to think of it like that. Too many people over too long of time have used it for reasons of hate. Slave owners used it. People that hated black people used it. You know what I mean? White supremacists used it as their main flag. So how are you going to think of it as something that is used in memorial to remember those soldiers? It's not going to happen. And I hate that it has to be that way, but also we're a united nation now. We're a United States of America. Why do you feel the need that flag should be flown? You know what I mean? And I know what he's saying. He doesn't care about the Confederate flag, but the fact of taking away something is taking a part of your freedom. If you're taking away this, why don't we just take away everything else? You know what I mean? It's a deeper reason. There's a deeper reason for that. We're trying to rid this country of the racists and the bigotry and all the racism of this country. And that's one of the number one things that shows racism, that stands for racism. It became that. It became a symbol of racism. So you have to get rid of it. I fully believe you have to get rid of it. I'm sorry for you Southerners that really want to celebrate your loss, and maybe you have a family member that fought in the Civil War or something like that. Like, I get it. No one's taking away your ability to honor your, say like you had like a relative that served in the Civil War. No one's taking away that ability to honor them. You can honor them all you want. But over our entire country, we don't need that flag to be flown. We do not respect what went on while that flag was flown. So that's my view on it. And after reading this tweet again, maybe people did take it out of context or did not understand what he was trying to say. But dude, he did make a name for himself. I'll tell you that. If he wanted to do anything, he made people know who he was, because he wasn't doing that driving. You know, out of 32 races, he came in top 10 once. And, you know, he wasn't doing too much in NASCAR. So, you know, this tweet really made a name for himself, you know. But even though you say, I could care less about the Confederate flag, your tweet, all in all, kind of still supports keeping it. You know what I mean? So, after all we're trying to do now, it came at a very insensitive time. And, you know, I would just reread what you tweeted and just take a moment and reflect and be like, oh man, you know what? I messed up. You know what I mean? I know what I'm trying to stand for. It didn't come across the correct way. And also, it's not the right thing. It's not the right thing to stand for. You know what I mean? This flag is not the way to go. You know what I mean? We're going to always remember it. That doesn't mean we need to have it flown here. You know, people think, oh, we need these things to remember our history. We need these things. Okay. Do you see, I think we do. We do have things. Because there's going to be things that aren't going to be taken down that will help us. Well, not help us, but will allow us to remember everything that this country has been through. You know, what black people had to go through. You know, you have museums all around the world that remind you what the Jews went through. And it really does. Like it makes you think back to how much hate there was. You know, and when you read about this history, and when you see this history that America had to go through and is still pretty much going through, you know, not the enslavement, but the unjust police brutality, the wrongful, like, you know, finding a black person on the street saying, oh, well, you look like you fit the description of this. How are you able to just go up and just tell someone to get on the ground because they look like something? You know what I mean? Like, why isn't more research done? I listened to the actor Jay Farrow. And he lived in the suburbs his whole life. You know, he said he was raised in a two-parent family home, mom and dad. Didn't have to deal with any kind of racism growing up, all that kind of stuff. But then, maybe like a week ago, a couple of days ago, something like that, he was walking down the street, told by a cop to get on the ground, out of nowhere, just out of nowhere. He looked around to make sure he was talking to him. He's like, oh, wow, he is talking to me. He gets on the ground. They tell him like, oh, you fit the description of so and so, you know? 3 other officers come, do the same thing they did with George Floyd. He put his knee on his neck. Jay states that they didn't do it for nine minutes, but long enough to know what it felt like. And he tells the officers like, hey man, you could Google me. You could Google my name and see that I'm not this guy that you're looking for. And then, you know, after a minute, they found that they were wrong. And they let him go. But still, man, like, just to be able to go up to someone and just do that, I don't know. There's got to be more to that system. And police have to do better. I'm not saying it's all of them. You know, I got people on my Facebook that are constantly putting out things that are happening to cops and, you know, all this kind of stuff, right? You know, I don't think cops deserve that, but, you know, they need to be able to stand up for themselves. You know, the good ones need to outweigh the bad. They need to stand up and say, hey, dude, like, you know what I mean? I was talking to a guy the other day and he said, no one's gonna, what do you call it? He called it a blue wall. He said, no one's going to break down that blue wall. Meaning, like, no one's going to snitch on their brother or sister. It has nothing to do with snitching, man. This is where people get things wrong, man. You don't have to go and snitch. But keep people accountable. You know what I mean? So say, like, my actual blood brother and sister did something, right? I'm not going to go tell my parents. I'm going to talk to them face to face. Hey, man, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, and talk to them face to face and try and deal with it that way rather than, you know, something happening to them. You know, keep each other accountable. Stand up for each other. Like, you know, you hear someone saying racist stuff. You see someone doing something they shouldn't be doing on the job. I saw a clip where 2 officers were arresting a guy. One of the dudes puts his knee on the guy's neck. The other guy takes his knee and pulls it back off the guy's neck. In the heat of everything. I believe it was going on during a protest and everything. And this guy, you know, has the thought to do that. But yeah, and then staying with the same and you know, another thing that's kind of irritating. So I asked people on Instagram, so, you know, call in, and if you still want to call in, 302-313-6429. Call into the show, and I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts on this. I want to hear your thoughts on the Confederate flag stuff, on the Black Lives Matter things, you know what I mean? Everyone is so quick to share an article or type out something because you're hiding behind your camera. Or not your camera, your computer. I'm hiding behind my camera. But you can't call in and just, you know, I have an open mind. I'm not going to hate you, whatever. I'm going to try. If you have an opinion that I disagree with, I'll try to, you know, help you out. But I'm not going to sit there and, like, get pissed off at you and stuff like that. Because, you know, you believe what you believe. We all have different experiences. We all grew up different places. Which is exactly why why white people don't and will never understand what a lot of black people go through. So, but just adding to that, you know, the other issue was the Greg Glassman issue. It's just, I swear, man, just some people just do not think when they decide to go to their phone or they decide to go to their computer and just type stuff. They don't think it through. So this dude posts, he's the CEO of CrossFit. He's pretty much the founder of CrossFit. He says it's Floyd 19. So mixing together the George Floyd and COVID-19, right? Dude, one of the most insensitive things, like, leave the comedy to the comedians. Like, I know you're trying to be funny, trying to make light of something, but this isn't the time to make light of a serious situation. We have two serious situations we're trying to deal with at the same time, and you're trying to make a little joke about it. It's very, very insensitive, very, I've seen people call it racist. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think anything of it until I read this article, because then, so this article is called, I'm a black gym owner. Here's why I'm cutting ties with CrossFit. And the guy's name is Andre Cruz. So he talks about how he got into CrossFit and he decided to open a gym and all this kind of stuff, and what CrossFit has done with his life, done for his life, and how many people CrossFit has brought together, because it's a movement, man. So after he sees Greg Glassman's tweet, he said I immediately turned to my wife and said, we're not with CrossFit anymore. So the next day, I guess Greg Glassman was on a private Zoom call with different owners of different gyms. On the Zoom call, he says, we're not mourning for George Floyd. I don't think me or any of my staff are. And regarding worldwide protests, he mused, I doubt very much that they're mourning for Floyd. I don't think that there's a general mourning for Floyd in any community. Dude, I don't think your eyes are open. I don't think you're watching. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're screwing yourself, dude. What the hell? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Some things are just unbelievable to me. I don't I don't understand. I don't get. Yeah, we're mourning George Floyd, man. And we're mourning all the other black people that have dealt with the same thing. Ahmaud Arbery, Eric Garner, Breonna Taylor. You can name after name after name. Not Trayvon Austin. He's a football player. I forget his name. Tavon. I don't know. The young kid that got shot because he was wearing a hoodie. I understand people get scared. But, if I learned anything doing security and stuff like that, man, you can't stereotype. You really can't. You really can't stereotype. And that's what I think people, and white people in particular, are very known for. I think they're very good at stereotyping. They see a person of a different color dressed one way and think they're automatically going to do something. Whereas really, it could be a white man in a suit to do the worst to you. You know what I mean? Just sit back and reflect on that for a second, But luckily, this dude, man, Andre Cruz. He changed the name to Functional Fitness Gym instead of CrossFit. So he didn't close his gym. He just said, hey, we're not calling ourselves CrossFit. We're not calling it CrossFit. A lot of CrossFit competitors decided not to compete. I don't know if they decided not to compete anymore, but definitely like this year they decided that. So you think just because you work out and you eat healthy and all that stuff, right? You think you're really healthy, at least like I did, And then I went and got my blood work done and shows that I'm at risk for heart attacks because my HDL was low. I was like, whoa. I thought I've been doing it right this whole time. You know what I mean? So I looked for everything to do. I changed my diet. I dropped my carbs and I added more fats so I could keep the same amount of calories. And I was just like, okay, I need to make sure that my healthy fats are in order and everything I'm doing is correct, right? So I put in my diet the OMG, the algal oil that Run Everything Labs supplies us at Strong Tower Nutrition. And after using this I think I used it for a month straight and went and got my blood work done again, and now I'm normal. So now I'm not at risk for any type of heart disease or anything like that. My healthy fats are back up and they're exactly where I want to be. So I continue taking the OMG as well as eating the healthy fats. You don't just want to use the supplement. You also want to change your diet to what you need to change it to. And, OMG are vegan omega-3s. It's not fish oil. I can't stress that enough. It's not fish oil. We took away the fish. And this is the algae that the fish would feed on, right? So it's algal oil. And if you go to stnutrition.com, you can get 10% off. The OMG is part of our Father's Day deal this weekend. So go to stnutrition.com, get your OMG for 10% off. Use the code DAD10. Again, that's stnutrition.com. Get your OMG. Stay healthy. Make sure you're taking in your healthy fats, because just because you're working out, just because you're doing cardio or being active, doesn't mean you're actually healthy. So focus on your diet, focus on your supplementation. Go to stnutrition.com, use the code DAD10, and get a deal. So this is the clip of Ronnie Coleman on Joe Rogan that is going like crazy in the fitness world.
And body fat.
I was 0.33.
0.33? What does that mean? Is that less than 3%?
That's less than 0.5%.
0.33. Like what?
0.33.
How does a human get that low?
I gotta attribute it to my genetics.
But
so he says he got down to 0.33% body fat, less than 0.5%. So I didn't quite believe that. And I know it's cool to say, you know what I mean, because I'm sure it did come up on whatever test he did. I'm sure Ronnie's he's not lying. But that test was false. So, you know what I mean? There has been actual facts of people getting very low, as low as 1%, but you're not going to get in the negatives. You're not going to get lower than 1. Some say that DK Metcalf, a receiver that's on the Seahawks, at the combine, he was at 1.6. I'm not sure, by looking at him, it didn't look like it. It didn't look like 1.6. So if you want to see something, there's a bodybuilder who was known for getting low body fat. Dude, this guy is ridiculously dry. You know, almost like, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, almost impossibly dry. His name is Andreas Munzer. He's Austrian. And, dude, I mean, look at the pictures of this guy. See, that's what 1% to me looks like. You could see literally everything. Literally everything. Oh, that's not him. There's him. And this is the classic picture of him, like him doing the most muscular. It's just crazy. And then he ended up, he did end up dying at an early age. And they say it's from a drug overdose. Don't know what kind of drug. But I'm assuming something he took to get that dry. Because this dude, they said his liver, like shrunk and folded up like a sponge. It was just like just shriveled up. And it's because of the stuff that he took to do that. I don't know. I probably could find something. My computer's going really slow right now, though, so. But anyway, yeah. So he would get down to like the craziest percentage. I think that was the lowest he's been at. He's been at 1%. So I looked to see if 0.33% was possible. Because in order to get down that low, like drugs have to be involved, diuretics, you're not just going to do that with conditioning and diet. You know what I mean? I think the lowest I've been was like 3 or 4. And those kind of things did come into play. But so I wanted to get more information about body fat. So then I found, so when you're burning your triglycerides, you're burning different kinds of fat. Your body has different kinds of fat that do certain things, right? So the kind that you're not going to see and you're not going to be tested for is your essential fat. So your essential fat is essential for your life and healthy body. This fat is found in your brain, your bone marrow, your nerves, your membranes to protect your organs. Plays a major role in hormone regulation, hormones that control fertility, vitamin absorption, and temperature regulation. So according to the ACE or ACE, women need at least 10 to 13% of their body composition to come from essential fat to be in good health, while men require at least 2 to 5%. So the 2 to 5%, you could still be healthy, which is wild to me. But it is possible to get below that. But 0.33, not quite sure that I believe that. I've watched a couple doctors that have YouTube channels, so I'm not too sure how good they are, but they both said the same thing. They both said, yeah, it's possible, but also, like, you would die. You need body fat to live, because it protects. It's not just your fat under your skin. You got different types of layers of fat to protect your organs and stuff like that. So yeah, man. But it is a good story to tell. It's cool to, if that came up on one of his tests, it's cool to tell people that. I would tell people that too. Yeah, I came up as 0.33. So I'm sure Ronnie doesn't like really believe that. But it's a cool story. It's a cool story to tell. So, yeah. But anyway, so this week has been pretty slow for me. We got Father's Day coming up. Got my mom to talk my dad out of going to I think he wanted to go to Georgia for a 2-week hike. He's done bits and pieces of the Appalachian Trail, and I think that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to go down south to do that for 2 weeks, which I had no problem with. But dude had a back spasm like a week ago. I'm just like, okay. Like, you can't be doing that. You can't go on a 2-week hike when you're by yourself in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, you might see some people here and there, but what if your back spazzes up when you can't move? You're waiting for who's going to get you first, a person or an animal? Because out there, that's the bear's land. That's the mountain lions. That's, all those kind of things. I don't play with that. But, that was the one thing I would be worried about for him. I know he acts like he's not too worried about it, but I'm glad he, changed his mind, and he'll be there for Father's Day, and we can all hang out and have a good time together. So, I guess I'll end that here, and I just thank y'all for listening. Thank you all for just keep listening. I'm trying to get to guests in person again. It's gonna be pretty difficult because people still, really, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. They're still hanging on to the COVID thing. I'm not too worried about it, but a lot of people, they seem to ignore a lot of information that's continuously coming out. They're still hanging on to the information that first came out. You know what I mean? So, and the information I'm talking about is it's very rare for asymptomatic people to spread the virus. And that was brought out by the World Health Organization. So I'm not just saying that. I don't know. That's just me. But anyway, thank y'all for listening, and I'll see you next time. It's Strong Tower Podcast. We're out. Peace.